Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast, number 103. I'm your host, Darren McClymans, and joining me for today's very special episode, I'm joined by Jalen Wade. How's it going, Jalen?
It's going good. Yourself?
I am doing good. Thank you so much for being here. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. Obviously, I followed you on TikTok for many years now. I followed you on Twitter for a handful of years now. You seem like a very positive face within the TikTok comic book community, and that's honestly a hard thing to come by these days. There's always so much fighting. There's always so much hate within the community. But
Yeah.
no, thank you for being here. How what's been going on in your neck of the woods?
Nothing much. Just excited for these DC projects coming up. And yeah, that's about it. Just waiting.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time. There's these last year and a half up to this point, almost 2 years, has been a lot of anticipation for obviously seeing a lot of these projects start to wrap up their universes, and then
Yeah.
James Gunn universe is about to take off, which is exciting. I said on Twitter today, 3 months, and we're starting the DCU.
Yeah, that's exciting.
It's very exciting, and I'm curious. That's kind of why I wanted to do this ranking now, because within these next couple weeks, we got the Penguin coming up.
Mhm.
We have the Joker coming up. We have Creature Commandos coming up. And then going into next year, we have, again, hopefully a slate of these upcoming DCU projects, along with some of these Elseworld stories as well. But yeah, no, again, thank you so much for being here. And we're obviously going to be doing that tier list later on in the episode. But I like to intro the show by just asking my guests, what are things that they've been watching lately or reading or playing? Is there a piece of media that you've really been enjoying lately that you would like to shout out?
Ooh. So recently, I've been going back and watching the Zack Snyder movies.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah, the DC.
amazing.
I watched Man of Steel a couple of days back,
Hmm?
and it was solid. It was good.
Mhm.
I have my problems with it, but it's still a fun, good
Yeah.
movie.
Are you a fan of the DCEU, or were you someone that wasn't as into them?
I mean, I like it. I'm a fan of it. I think I have problems with it,
Sure.
as everybody else. But I think Snyder. I think he's a really good director. I love the castings of some of these characters.
Yeah.
Overall, I enjoy it. I enjoy the universe.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think one of the saddest things about transitioning out of the universe is there is so many great actors over the years within the DCU
Yeah,
or DCEU. Obviously, some problematic stuff, and it was very frustrating because they had all these great actors, but it's but so
yeah,
many of them weren't doing it anymore. We didn't have a Superman, we didn't have a Batman. Obviously stuff with Flash wasn't, there's a lot of weird stuff over there, but there are a lot of cast over there that will be missed going into this new kind of universe. But no, that's absolutely amazing. And, what a great time to kind of refresh yourself on the past universe going into this new kind of set of movies. Saying in
yeah.
the chat really quick, one Marvel fans in the chat, how's it going, one Marvel fan? Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing well. Things I've been watching, man. I don't know if you're a fan of the franchise at all. I've been going through the Walking Dead shows right now, and I'm currently on my third show within that universe. That's kind of all I've been really watching recently. I've been just really busy. Only Murders in the Building also just started their new season, and that's also been exciting. But
Yeah,
yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
yeah. I know. I know. My parents are big fans of Walking Dead.
Oh yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. That's
Amazing.
yeah.
But yeah, we're going to get today's episode started. We have some news stories today. It was actually kind of a big week for just discussion of DC, weirdly enough. Obviously this is a DC themed episode.
Yeah.
But last couple of weeks there hasn't been a lot surrounding everything. But this week there was a couple of things that came out that I do really want to talk about. And the first I'm going to be pulling up here in just a second. And that's to do. Sorry. That's to do with the Batman. New details for the future of the Batman saga have surfaced. Now, before we get into some of these topics, are you a fan of Matt Reeves' The Batman? Is that a film that you enjoy?
Yeah, that film is just an utter masterpiece. Everything he touches just turns to gold.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
really
yeah, because I recently watched through his like Planet of the Apes movies, and I hadn't watched them when those, like when this movie came out, and everyone's like, "Oh, Matt Reeves is great." Batman's in good hands. And I feel like he was a really good choice for that. And we're gonna be talking about in just a second the Penguin, which is obviously the newest installment. But yeah, he said a couple of things this week that I do want to pull up here and talk about. Someone I'm gonna be sharing my screen here in just a second. Here we go. So this is the first piece of news. Don't worry, I'll throw this up. So this is the first one. Came out about a week and a half ago or so, and that's the Batman won't appear in the upcoming Penguin TV show. Now, there's been a lot of uproars about this. Some people really want the Batman to appear in the show. Some people are glad that they aren't. What's your thoughts on this? Is this something that you're disappointed about?
I was disappointed at first when I heard about it, but then I thought about it. I don't want him to show up just to show up. I want him to show up and have like relevancy to the story of the movie. So I don't want it to be like a 10-second thing where he shows up and doesn't say anything. I'm meaning his cameo.
You don't want him to just be a cameo for the sake of a cameo. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I was kind of surprised they told the fans this ahead of time though, because I know some people that were wanting to watch a show exclusively to potentially see another shot of Batman again. But I think, like I've had friends in a circle say like, oh, like what's the point of a Penguin show if you're not going to have Batman? But I feel like unlike characters like the Joker and Venom where this criticism gets thrown around, I feel like the Penguin is his own kind of beast. And I feel like Penguin is his own unique character before Batman, right? He was a whole character before Batman hit the scenes. He's going to be a character after Batman hits the scenes. Yeah. And he has a whole thing going on in his life that doesn't revolve around the Batman. He has a whole job. He has his own like society. He has his own men. He has his own kind of like infrastructure going on. So I do think this makes sense. Is this a show that you're excited to kind of dive into?
Yeah, I am. At first, it kind of felt like to me like, you know how everybody felt when Loki first got announced? Like, why do we need a Loki show? But then we'd be sure this is like the greatest thing ever.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm excited for the show. I think Matt Reeves should definitely do more within the Batman universe, if it makes sense, what kind of characters. But yeah, I'm excited to see how this is going to tie into the sequel.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be curious because again, they've said that the show takes place just like couple days after the events of the movie. So there's definitely going to be some kind of tie-in. There's going to be something that makes it relevant to the overall story. And I am curious because like I am excited for the show. I would also say that like it looks like a really good show, but not necessarily the show I would put on if it wasn't under the DC label. Like, the like kind of the gangster mob boss kind of era of shows like The Sopranos typically aren't my original cup of tea. So I'm going to be curious to see what it does. We have Ronan Unchained in the chat. Also, hello Ronan, great to see you, buddy. All right, we got a couple of other things here in terms of the Batman that I do want to talk about. So let me hold on. Do I need to zoom that in a little bit? Yes, I do. These next two came out yesterday, and there's been a lot of uproar about these two comments. Matt Reeves said Gentleman Ghost is an example of a villain that is too fantastical to appear in the Batman universe. There is a fun way to think about how we would take characters that might push over into a bit of the fantastical and find a way to make sense of that. So this is kind of a conversation that's been happening ever since the first one kind of came out, or kind of leading up to that that it was going to be a much more grounded Batman universe, right? We
Yeah.
maybe not see characters like, like a Man-Bat or Clayface or,
Yeah.
some that kind of reach into the world of abstract a little bit and the fantastical. And I feel like a comment like this kind of solidifies this idea. Is this something that you're okay with, them sticking to the more grounded side of the DC universe, or would you like to see them expand on it a little bit?
I mean, definitely. I think that you have to keep this universe grounded. This is where it all started. I think you can leave that stuff to James Gunn. Like his
Sure.
Batman universe, he's gonna do Clayface and all of them. He already showed us that he could do like this kind of like weird side of his universe with Guardians, with the Suicide Squad. So let him play around with those characters in that Batman universe. But yeah, I would definitely like to keep Matt Reeves' universe, Batman universe separate,
Sure.
and keep it more grounded.
Yeah, 100%. Like when I hear this, it screams like, okay, this is why Matt Reeves didn't want to be connected to the DCU, right? Like
Yeah.
when they announced the new DCU, a lot of people were upset. Like, why don't they choose Matt Reeves' version of the character? And it's very clear to me. I think it was obviously not designed when that first movie came out. It was not designed to be part of a larger world. He just wanted a cinematic universe for Batman. That's what he wanted.
Yeah.
And I think that's beneficial to both Batman. I think that's beneficial to Batman because he gets to do his own thing. You get to have a whole universe just to him. And then I think it's also beneficial to every other DC character because, obviously over at DC, Batman is like the limelight. And that gives a chance over there to just introduce all these other characters that you want to. Like you can have the Authority, you can have, Swamp Thing and Supergirl and Creature Commandos. Man, like Creatures is a show that never would have happened, I feel like, in the past. But now this gives them the opportunity to shine. And yeah, like if this was the only adaptation of Batman that we were getting, I'd be a little bit annoyed because I do love the fantastical elements of Batman. Like I love Mr. Freeze and Clayface and Killer Croc and all these very interesting and fun villains. But again, like you said, we can have the DCU do that, and then over here we can do Hush, and we can do Joker, and we can do Court of Owls and all these more grounded, the Penguin, stuff like that over there. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Absolutely. And then lastly here, and I think I might have to zoom in. Now this one's definitely going to be a fun kind of conversation. Matt Reeves gets first details on the Batman 2. He said it's going to dig into the epic story about deeper corruption, and it goes into places that he couldn't even anticipate in the first one. So it's a story about corruption, which I feel like we got into a little bit in the first one. And I feel like Batman's always a little bit about corruption. Like that's kind of the whole deal of Gotham City at this point, that it's just a corrupt, pigsty of a city. But with this description, obviously, what's your thoughts on this? But also, is there a villain that you think fits this description that you would like to see?
Ooh, I would definitely like to see him do Two-Face.
Oh, Two-Face would be cool. I could see that. That definitely fits into like the corruption angle, right? That's like what does it mean to be, there's just the whole idea of corruption is like, well, I'm a man of the people until I'm not. And I think the first one that just popped in my head, just when I read this, I was like, oh, that sounds like the Court of Owls. That sounds like 100 years worth of corruption now kind of boiling up to the surface, and now him kind of coming in and being like, well, okay, maybe I have to put a stop to this. I also just kind of thought about Hush. I think Hush could be a really cool story. Really I've kind of pitched the idea of Hush for a while for this version of Batman, because this is a Batman, like, what I thought was so interesting about that first movie was like, this wasn't, usually it's Bruce Wayne pretending to be Batman. This is Batman pretending to be Bruce Wayne. And I feel like having a villain come in and be literally like, hey, I have the face of Bruce Wayne. This is my face now. I'm Bruce Wayne. It's going to have him come to the terms with like, okay, now I have to find out who I really am, or someone else is going to take that for me. Like, I feel like there's a really cool story there about like self-discovery. If that's the direction they want to go. But obviously, like, there's so many villains that could fit this kind of.
Yeah, so many villains.
Like you could just screw and be like, Joker, he's about corruption, and be like, all right, whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
most of Batman's go to is about corruption.
Yeah.
Cameron Walker in the comments said the Batman Part 2 maybe have Court of Owls. Yeah, that's what we were just saying. I think Court of Owls now with this description would probably be pretty high on my my theories list in terms of
they are like my favorite like newer Batman villain. I love the Court of Owls.
Yeah, no, 100%. And also like obviously they're in Gotham Knights the show, they were in Gotham Knights the game, they were in the Gotham TV show, weirdly enough. But also like they've never been in a movie before. And I'm a big fan of when you can like bring in villains that have never been in the films before. Like one of my things I love about the Spider-Man movies is for the most part, somewhat recently, outside of like we had Green Goblin and Spider-Man 2 and obviously the most recent one, most of the Spider-Man movies have different villains for each movie. And I really like that each one gets their own time to shine. So, we had the Riddler in the last one. That was completely fine. I thought that was cool. But I would like to see some other villains kind of come in and get their limelight. All right, our second news story here is was one no one was kind of expecting to come out yesterday. The first trailer for the upcoming Minecraft movie was released, and this, I'll be honest, again, I wasn't expecting this. This doesn't come out until next April. There was no press leading up to it, no scooper saying, hey, it's coming soon. It just was like, hey, it's out, enjoy. And this has been this has been a very divisive trailer, probably one of the more divisive trailers I've seen online in a minute now. Well, I mean, first I just want to ask you, are you a fan of the Minecraft game? Like, is that a game you grew up on? Is that a game that you like to play? Or is it one that you haven't dabbled in too much?
Not too much. My brother plays it a lot, but yeah, I would say I watch him play it sometimes. Sure. So I know all of Minecraft.
100%. Yeah. I own Minecraft, but I never really I couldn't really get into it too much. Like I never really kind of got it. But like Minecraft is just like I feel like Mario and now Fortnite. Like it's such a phenomenon. Like I feel like even if you don't play Fortnite or even if you don't know Minecraft, you know Minecraft. Like you've seen it be played, you've heard it, kind of the memes. Like he's like, I am Steve in this trailer. I'm like, yeah, I've heard of Steve. He's just that iconic at this point. Now again, obviously this was a very controversial trailer for many people, and I do from the perspective of someone who hasn't played it too much. What were your thoughts on this one? Does this excite you at all, or are you kind of with the internet that's a little bit on fire with it at the moment?
I mean, I like Jack Black. I like Jason Momoa. I will see it. I'm not excited for it really, but I mean, let's see what they got.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's obviously it's a very short trailer, it's a teaser, right? So we don't get to see much. I like I know the little creatures are being very people don't like the way they look. They wanted to get the Sonic treatment. I actually don't hate the look of the animals within the within the movie or the block. I think the CGI bit of it all looks good to me. Yeah. I don't know. It is. I do think there's an uncanny valleyness to the humans in there though. It very much looks like a green screen Jack Black just standing there. A lot of people are comparing it to Jumanji, how they're just kind of going into the game, which I can understand with a game like this why they want that approach, because they're like, oh yeah, they want to be the human being able to be creative and such. But I do still wish it was an animated film. I do. When they announced the Minecraft movie, I was like, oh yeah, it's an upcoming animated movie, of course. And then it was announced as live action. I was like, oh, okay. That's definitely a choice. Let's see how they go about that. And listen, I'm not too mad about it mainly because I haven't played it too much. So I don't have too much skin in the game like people who've been playing Minecraft for the last 15 years of their life. I don't have that. But I will say I did not. I thought the weirdness of the trailer ultimately was the Jack Black scene where he's like, I'm Steve, and it's just Jack Black in a t-shirt, and it's like, yeah. Okay. All right, Jack Black. I mean, I love you, Jack Black, one of my favorite actors, but I don't know, maybe they could have gone about that differently, or at least like when it comes to marketing, maybe not put that scene in the trailer, because obviously that's got to be the scene people make fun of. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
it's how the internet works. Like, you have to market those teasers better. But yeah, we don't have to stick on this too long, but it's happening. This is, obviously a movie, I'll probably be covering a little bit more as it gets closer to a proper release. But yeah. Okay, so this next one here, I want to just kind of preface this by saying highly rumors. These are all rumors what we're about to talk about, and even that, either rumors I don't think are true, but I do want to talk about them in the fun hypothetical of just like what if these were to happen, if and just kind of the concept of them, what we would think. So Green Lantern, obviously we have the upcoming Green Lantern series for the DCU, and there has been some casting rumors. Now, one of the main reasons I don't think this is true is they've said in the past they won't start casting until they have a script done, until they're ready to start production on the show, and we've heard nothing about production starting on Green Lantern. The only somewhat thing that makes me think maybe there's a somewhat of truth to it is James Gunn hasn't piped up about it at all. Like normally when there's some false things come out, James Gunn's like, nope, that's not true. He kind of shuts it down immediately. And we haven't seen that. But we're going to be talking about some of these casting rumors that have been going around over the last couple of days, and just what our feelings would be on them if they were true. So obviously, 3 names been going around for the casting of Hal Jordan. So sorry, and that's Josh Brolin, Ian McGregor, and Matthew McConaughey. Again, these are. Internet has not been kind to these rumors over these last couple of days, because obviously these are all much older actors going into Hal Jordan, which is a very different take than we're used to. What would your opinion be if they went for an older version of Hal Stewart or Hal Jordan? I'm so sorry.
I mean, at first I was like, I don't know, but one is Josh Brolin. 2, I can kind of see it, like in the way of like them kind of doing the Paradox storyline.
Sure.
Also, the animated movie that they did a while back.
Yeah.
You can see them doing that. So it definitely makes sense for that, and I think definitely that's where they're going with the show. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. I think it's different. And I mean, I like different. So let's see what James Gunn got cooking with the show.
Yeah, I think it's very clear they're trying to do, just based on this casting, and it seems something rumors we've heard for a while, is that they wanted an older Hal Jordan and a younger Jon Stewart, and it kind of feels like they're doing this like older, younger buddy cop comedy kind of thing with Green Lanterns. Just someone who's been doing it for the last 20 years, 30 years, and then this newbie's going to be coming in and training under him, and learning the ropes. And I have a feeling it's going to be like a very grumpy Hal Jordan, and then a very like young and like skippity
definitely
Jon Stewart, right? And that's kind of the like dynamic that they're going to go with. Now, out of these 3 castings here, if one of these were to be true, and of course there's been some others floating around as well, but by the time I made this graphic, these were the 3 that were floating around. Out of these 3, if one of them were to get the role, which one do you think you would like the most out of Josh Brolin, Ian, and Matthew McConaughey?
For older, I would say Josh Brolin, but as far as like if they want to go for like a more experience, I would definitely say Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Like he's one. So that definitely works out.
Yeah, I think out of these 3, when I just think of Hal Stewart, I do inherently just see Ian the most out of these 3. Just like look wise. Like, yeah, Ian looks like he could play a Hal Jordan that's like been doing it since he was like 20 or whatever. Like he's very experienced in the role. So out of those 3, I think that would be the one I'd be least mad about. I just think like Josh Brolin, to me, I don't get the personally don't get the Hal Jordan vibes, just in terms of his voice, personality. It's just one I'm not I just don't see yet. Not saying he can't do it. Like, I bet if he went into the role, I bet he could definitely do it. And then Matthew, I bet could do it. Like, I don't see it right now, but like I could definitely see it. And Cameron said, I want Chris Pine to be Hal Jordan. That would be my pick as well. Like, if we're going for like a famous person, Chris Pine looks great.
I could definitely see him as Hal Jordan.
Yeah. Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, in terms of like the Lanterns TV show, and obviously we're going to be talking about that in a little bit here, but like, is that a show you're super excited for? Like, is that obviously seems like hopefully we're going to be gearing up for it soon. Obviously, if these rumors are true, they're going to start production soon, hopefully. But is that one that you're excited for? And obviously we'll talk about it in a minute, but.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I think it's time for the Green Lanterns to finally get their start. Well, we had that start back in the early 2000s or whatever that time was with Ryan Reynolds. But yeah, I'm excited. I think, James Gunn needs to do movies other than, Batman and Superman. I think the Green Lanterns are definitely more, they need it right now.
Yeah. Green Lanterns are so, like their due is, like, it's time for them, I think. Like, they've had a rough 10 or so years. Like, obviously they had the Ryan Reynolds movie, which I'm under the opinion it's not as bad as some people think. Like, it's not good, but like I don't think it's like the atrocity that Ryan Reynolds makes it out to be sometimes. And then obviously, like, besides that, there's been nothing. I guess the Super Pets movie had a Green Lantern, but besides that, outside of the CW, there really hasn't been a Green Lantern. Like, even on the CW, we would try to get our like Diggle up and get him the Green Lantern stuff, and that just didn't work out, unfortunately. And then we had like the like Stargirl stuff, like, oh, Stargirl's gonna, and she was really good in Stargirl. And she was supposed to get a spinoff, and that also didn't work out, unfortunately. So it's like just bad luck after bad luck. And we had the other Green Lantern show that was supposed to come out. That also got canceled, and this one coming in, and it's like, it's time. The Green Lanterns need their due. They need it. And like I've said, I think like Green Lanterns could run their entire universe on their own. Like, you can do an entire franchise on just the Green Lanterns. There's so many of them. The possibilities for their stories are endless. Like, yeah, it's definitely their time, I think. But yeah, with that being said, we are going to be jumping into our main topic today, which is our tier list. Now, I compiled most of the... I tried to write, like, there might be one or two from over the years that I did forget to bring up, and I'll enlarge that in a second. Don't you worry. But there might be one or two. Like, I at work this morning, I was like, oh yeah, they announced that Jurassic Justice League movie, animated movie, like a year ago, and I've completely forgot to put it on here. But like, I was like, it's okay, it's all right. There might be a couple missing, but I think I got it for the most part. And right before we move on, I just want to acknowledge Cameron's comment. I like the Green Lantern animated series. That was a very good show. I don't know if you watched the 2000 show, but it was great. Absolutely. Alrighty then. So we're going to enlarge this really quickly. And can I put our faces over here? Yes, I can. So let me just see if I can enlarge our screen at all. There we go. That's a bit better. So I'm going to go over these really quickly, and then we can go into where we would rank them. And of course, this is in terms of our excitement for each of these projects. We have S, A, B, C, and S, A, B, C. And Nindy would be like, yeah, we're probably not going to watch it, or we're not that excited. I'm not sure if that'll be anything on here for me, but it's there as an option. So we have The Penguin, Joker 2, Creature Commandos, Superman, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, The Batman Part 2, Superman Lois Season 4, The Brave and the Bold, The Authority, Swamp Thing, the highly rumored Teen Titans project, Waller, Peacemaker Season 2, Booster Gold, Paradise Lost, Green Lanterns, Constantine 2, My Adventures with Superman Season 3, Harley Quinn Season 5, and the Blue Beetle animated series. So yeah, let's start at the very top. And again, anyone watching, if they want to contribute where they would put on their personal list, let us know. So yeah, let's start with The Penguin. Hello, Alexander. How's it going? So are you excited? We already talked about the Penguin a little bit here, but are you excited for the Penguin?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm not too hyped about it, but I'm interested in seeing it.
Yeah, I kind of gave a little bit of my thoughts on it the other day, but or not the other day, sorry, earlier within the stream. But I was like, yeah, this looks like a really, really well-made show. Not necessarily one I'd watch on my own. Like if it didn't have already that DC logo, like if it was just like an original IP. Not sure if I would be super into it. But where on the ranking do you think you would put it?
Well, from I don't want to put it at C. I definitely put it at B. I think B is a good spot to put it.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I think B is a pretty solid middle of the road where like it's exciting. I mean, I will say I think a lot of my excitement is just getting to return into the Batman saga, right? Like we know there's going to be several new projects within this Batman saga. We're getting Batman Part 2. There's some other spin-off solo movies kind of rumored around this time. But yeah, the Penguin I think is very solid B. We have a C or B. Are we talking about Marvel, guys? We are not talking about Marvel. I'm so sorry. The opposite, actually. We're talking about DC. But if you have any Marvel questions, send them our way. We'll try to answer them. Alrighty, next up, we have The Joker 2, which comes out next month. Very close. We actually just yesterday got the Rotten Tomatoes score for the critics, which was surprising to me. I was a little surprised about that. Did you like the first Joker movie?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. The first one was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
The second one just got me way more excited. So yeah, I would definitely be more excited. I would definitely am more excited.
Yeah, I when it was first announced, and I'm not someone that likes to say, oh, why are they making this? No one asked. I don't like to be that person. I think there's always someone to ask for something, and I always like to keep an open mind for stuff. But it was one I was like, okay, I did not think this was getting a sequel. What are they going to do different this time around? And I'll be honest, like the musical aspect is why I'm really excited. Because there's never been a musical comic book movie, right?
Yeah.
In this genre, like there's a lot of talk about like we're having the same comic book movies over and over. Gotta make it different, gotta make it fresh. This is fresh, man. There's never been a movie like this before, and I'm excited. Man, I'd probably put it in A for me. It's definitely not S. I'm not the most excited, but I do think it's going to be good. I do think we're in for a good movie.
Yeah, I would agree with A.
A? Alrighty. Cool. Well, The Flash would be an A. Well, we don't have any upcoming Flash projects at the moment, unfortunately. But I do hope they announce one at some point. Because I hope Flash doesn't get completely abandoned in this upcoming DC universe.
Yeah, I hope not either.
Absolutely. Already up next, we have Creature Commandos, which we recently got a new poster for. Obviously comes out in December. I think we were talking about this a little earlier, but again, it starts in just a couple months now. The DCU starts, and that's very exciting. Now, again, this is the first official project within the DCU, which is huge. It's crazy. It's about to start. How excited are you for this project?
I'm really excited for it. To see this kick off the DCU, it's just a long time coming. It feels like we've been waiting years.
Yeah.
For the DCU to finally pick up, and now it's starting. So it's just like, all right, we here. Let's just see what James Gunn's got.
Yeah, it is just so exciting to finally have it here. Like we've been waiting such a long time. This project could be like the least exciting project on earth, and I think I'd be still excited because it's finally the start. Like we've been, I don't know about what you've been doing on your side of things, but like once a week I feel like I bring up the DCU. It's just I've been constantly talking about this show or just the universe as a whole, and again the fact that it's starting is so exciting to me.
Yeah.
Man. I think I would personally, and actually I would like to hear where your ranking would be first, and then I'll kind of give mine.
Ooh. I would put it next to Joker, like A. I don't think it's that tier, in my opinion, but I'll definitely put it at A.
I would agree with that. I'm excited mainly because it is the first project in here. But I will also say, you know, my main criticism, not criticism because we haven't seen it yet, obviously, but my main thing is like I don't necessarily love that it's the first project. Like I do wish Superman came out first because I do think that should be the full first introduction to it all. And like if it was like Superman, then Creatures, and then like Waller, I'd be like, all right, that's a great first three line. Like I'm totally fine with that. But yeah, definitely, and I'm excited for it to start this year. Alrighty, next up is the big one itself. It is the upcoming Superman movie. Again, this is the big one. Like this one is so exciting. It's the first Superman movie since Man of Steel all the way back in 2013. It's the real launching point for the DCU. Obviously we have the whole cast. This is obviously the upcoming DC project we know the most about, right? We know the cast, we know plot, you know, details about the movie. We know we've seen the suit. We know all these things, and that might affect it compared to some of these other projects that we don't know so much about. Are you excited for the upcoming Superman movie?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think this will make like not a buttload of money, but I do think that will make a lot of money.
Yeah,
we need Superman right now.
We absolutely need Superman. Like this is like I really like Man of Steel. I think that's a good movie, but I do think Superman needs to turn over the audience again. I think it needs to prove who Superman is at his core. And I think Superman Lois has done a really good job about that. I think My Adventure Superman has done a really good job about that. And I think Superman needs to run it home, not only for the reputation of Superman, but the reputation of DC as a whole going forward. Like it needs that slam dunk. So where would it be on your list in terms of anticipation?
It would definitely be an F. An F for Superman. Definitely.
I agree. It's probably my most anticipated personally on this list, I think. Just because, again, it is the first. It is Superman. Superman is so needed within the future of everything that we're doing. That's very exciting. I want to run through some of these comments just really quick. Alexander asks, is Green Lanterns DC? Green Lanterns is absolutely DC, and we will be talking about his project here after a while. Cameron said, I like the Batman. Well, hell yeah. We have some Batman projects to talk about on here. Absolutely. All right, so we have next up Superman, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, we know slightly less about this one outside of it being an adaptation of the Woman of Tomorrow comic book. And we do have the casting. I don't have her name at the top of my head, but it's the girl from House of the Dragon. She's very good. I think that's fantastic casting. And apparently it's set for July of 2026. So just 1 year after the release of Superman. Are you excited for this one, or kind of where are you at with Supergirl?
I'm excited for it. I think I'm not as excited for it as I would be for Superman, but still really excited for Supergirl. To see just more of Superman's world, like we need more of that.
Yeah, I'm excited. Again, it's going to be Supergirl is going to be interesting because I think I really like the aspect that it's a space odyssey. Like it seems like the space epic adventure. Supergirl obviously has not had a movie for many, many years. It's been a while for them. And from what I hear, that comic is incredible. From what I hear, it's like one of the best Supergirl comics. And they do her very well there. And the casting's great. And I'm excited for a more edgy Supergirl. Like I think that's going to be a very fun contrast to the Superman casting and just a Superman character as a whole. So where is it at within your tier list?
I would definitely put it at A.
A, yeah. I think I would agree. I think it's not on S tier for me yet, but also again, like a lot of these, we'll probably get more excited as we get more info, as we see more casting, who we see, as the villain and all that kind of fun stuff. Did I accidentally say Superman? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. Ant-Man was good. Yes, Ant-Man is a fun movie. That's not DC, but it's definitely a very fun movie.
Yep.
All right, now up next, and we already talked about this a good bit already, The Batman Part 2, the sequel to Matt Reeves' The Batman. Obviously, we already talked about this. We really like the first one. We think that first movie is really, really solid. Again, this is tough because we don't know much yet. Like, we don't know the plot. We don't know the villain yet. So we're just kind of basing it off of our already love for the first movie. Are you excited for it? We already kind of talked about it a little bit, but like,
I'm excited for it. I think I just need to hear more details and who's the villain. But I'm excited for it.
I am too. I think it's another B for, or I think it's another A for me. I think it's really exciting. Again, I think that excitement will just depend on when we hear the villain. Like, for a while, it was rumored to be like Mr. Freeze, and like when that was the rumor, I was like, oh yeah, it's gonna be one of my most anticipated. But at the moment we don't know. So, where would you put it?
For me, I would definitely put it at B, just because we don't know much. So B would definitely be a spot for me.
Alrighty. Number B is totally okay with me. Next up is my bias pick, and that is Superman and Lois Season 4. Now, I do want to ask, because I didn't really ask too much beforehand, but were you ever a fan of those like CW shows that ran on the Arrowverse stuff, and then the CW, like the Arrowverse adjacent shows? Were those shows that you used to watch?
Yeah, like I grew up with those shows. Like, it's a special place in my heart for those shows. Superman and Lois is just incredible. Like, the stuff they were able to do in that show is just beyond peak.
I agree.
Yeah, the casting for it is just incredible. Honestly, I would put the casting of the Arrowverse on par with the BMCU. Because Grant Gustin, Stephen Amell is just incredible casting. So yeah, I really love the Arrowverse.
Absolutely.
Now all of this have been great, but it still holds a special place in my heart.
Oh yeah, it's like, same with the MCU and even the like DCU. It's hills and valleys. It's a constant hills and valleys. Like, you would have some of the best TV I've ever seen, and then the next season some of the worst television I've ever seen. Like, it's just, that's how it rolls with them. And just personally for me and my bias, and this is the last DC CW show ever that we're probably ever going to get. It's the last. Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just saying, I almost forget about that sometimes. It's just ending after this.
Yeah, it's over. It's really, the CW is kind of done after Superman and Lois. Like, they got wild cards, and that's it. Like, I know nobody that watches that show. Like, every show they had are gone, and they've moved on. And not even that. It's the end of script, like network television superhero shows. We used to have like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Cloak and Dagger and all these kind of like all these shows on, all the Arrowverse shows, and ABC used to have a bunch. This is it. Going forward, there'll only be streaming superhero shows, which is a sad reality that we live in now. It's just, that's where they live now. For me personally, it's an S. That's a bias pick probably. So I don't know where you would put it on your hype scale, and wherever you say, we can obviously put it there. But where would it be for you?
Ooh. Lower season. I gotta catch up on it.
Okay.
But I would definitely put it at A.
A? Alrighty.
Definitely put it at A.
Absolutely. Alrighty, up next we have The Brave and the Bold. The other Batman projects we got going on, which I know it's kind of a, some people don't like that we have two ongoing Batman projects. Like, some people think they should just have one. But we kind of talked about this a little earlier already in terms of our like Batman conversation, but like we get to have the more gritty stuff, the more grounded stuff over in the Batman Part 2, and then Brave and the Bold can have the more fantasy element. And I do think it's tough because we don't have that Batman casting yet. We don't have the Damian Wayne casting yet. We don't know the vibe. All we really know is that Andy is coming back to direct this movie after, doing The Flash. But I do think and again, it's going to change once we kind of see that first trailer. But I in my head, I love the vibe that they could go with this one, because I want something in the same vein as Batman the Animated Series. I want them to hit that very dark and gritty city of Gotham, but a very fun and fantastical world. I want them to live in a world where just King Shark can appear from the sewers, and then you can go over the next door and see Clayface doing this really, terrible stuff. Like, I want to live in that world.
Yeah.
Is this something that you're excited for? Like, are you okay with having two different Batman stories at the same time?
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with it. The more Batman, more better. I think Anthony definitely will pull it off, that fantastical side, but also the grounded side too as well. The Flash is probably, I know some people don't like it, but it's one of my favorite films.
Mm-hmm.
DC in general. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm not as excited for it as these other projects because again, we don't know much about it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, definitely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me that'd be another A. I think that's another A for me, just in terms of the potential. And Damian Wayne, like Robin in general in live action, is very, like, there's not a lot of it, which is kind of crazy. Like,
Yeah.
the fact we're going on our second Joker movie and it's been a long time since we've had Robin, and Robin's never had his own project. And I feel like, they've confirmed with us already on Robin. That means we already have a Dick Grayson, we already have a Batgirl. This is probably our third Robin up at this point. So the Bat family's there. It's alive. It's out there thriving. So it would definitely be an A for me, I think. If you're okay with A.
Yeah, I will go with A.
Okay, cool.
As well.
Okay, this one's going to be tough, I think, for many. And next up we have The Authority. And this one, I should say, I don't know The Authority. I personally, someone who isn't as in keen with the comics as some other people, I don't know The Authority. I've heard things about them. I know them in passing. And that, I think that's the exciting thing about them getting a movie is like, well, now I get to learn. You get to teach me through the movie who these guys are. And that's the exciting parts. Do you know The Authority? Are these characters that you're familiar with or no?
Yeah. So The Authority is basically like The Boys. Have you ever heard of that show?
Yeah.
One of the characters is actually going to appear in Superman. I don't know if you heard about it or saw set photo.
Yeah.
But one of the characters from The Authority is going to appear in that. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm also worried a little bit because it has two LGBTQ characters in it. But I mean, I trust James Gunn.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit worried.
I think it's definitely important not to screw that up because I think it's definitely important to show that representation well.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, The Authority is definitely a risk. Like, out of all the projects that James Gunn announced, they're the ones with the least amount of street cred in terms of familiarity. And he said originally this was going to be the movie or the second movie in the lineup. Now we know that's going to be Supergirl, and I think that's a good choice because I do think maybe you should push The Authority back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because again, these movies need to be successful. I do think it is smart to kind of lead with some of your more popular characters. I think leading with Supergirl, Superman, Batman, Lanterns will probably be out at that point, right? And I think for me it is a C at the moment. Like, not because I don't think it's going to be good. I just don't know enough about them.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about this movie or the characters, but again, I'm excited to learn. And like, I will say, I think putting them in Superman is smart. I think that's really smart. That's what, not to go back to the Arrowverse stuff, but that's what the Arrowverse would do very well, is they were like, all right, we got this new Flash show coming. How do we get people to watch? Oh, let's put him in Arrow, right? And then, Legends came around. We're like, all right, we got this new cast of all these characters. How do we introduce it? All right, let's do a crossover introducing all the characters. All right, that's cool. Batwoman, same thing. Okay, we got this new Batwoman show coming. Let's put her in the crossover so people know her already. Like, that's something they did very well, and it seems like James Gunn might have the same technique, which I think is smart.
Yeah, it's very smart.
So where would you put it, do you think?
I would definitely put it at C. I agree with you.
Okay, cool. Cool. All right, we have a Swamp Thing. Now I'll say up front, I really like Swamp Thing. Did you ever watch the like DC Universe show that came out?
I saw the trailer. I think I saw the first episode, but after the first episode, I kind of fell off of it.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I watched the first episode, and then the week later they canceled it before the episodes were even airing. Where I'm like, well, I kind of lost most motivation to finish the show after it was canceled instantly. But like people who watch it said it's brilliant. Like people who've seen it thinks it's amazing, and I think
no, yeah,
that's
I heard about them too. I had no reviews on it.
yeah. Yeah, and I think from what I heard, it's mainly because of like production costs. That's like a really like
Yeah.
their sets were just really expensive to keep up, and they just were never going to get that second season.
Yeah.
But why I'm personally really excited for Swamp Thing, and typically I'm not a huge fan of scary movies. Like that's not the genre that I typically adore or love.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the technique of what James Gunn has did with his announcement of the first kind of saga of the DC, first chapter of what Gods and Monsters, where I feel like each project he announced kind of sounded like a different genre of movies, right? Like
Yeah.
Superman was traditional superhero movie, Supergirl was like a space odyssey, Brave and the Bold was a father-son duo, Swamp Thing's a horror movie, Booster Gold's gonna be a comedy, Green Lantern's like a crime mystery show, and like each project to me felt like a different genre, and I think Swamp Thing being like a scary movie, that's what we need. I think each movie should have its own audience, and I think Swamp Thing being this rated R like horror movie is there's not really many of those within like the comic book sphere, and I think that's amazing. I think that's what we need more of. So yeah, for me personally, and actually I would like to hear your kind of ranking first because I don't want to keep just going first each time. But what's your kind of take on it?
I don't know much about Swamp Thing other than like playing the Injustice game,
Sure.
but he seems like a cool character. I definitely know of him, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think they said that James Mangold was directing.
Yep.
And he did an incredible job
Mm-hmm.
on Logan and then one other X-Men movie that he did. I forgot. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not as excited for it. But yeah, I mean, I would definitely put it like a C.
Okay.
Not like excited, but not like, like I'm not excited either.
Sure.
Like,
I was thinking A, you're thinking B, so I'm thinking we're gonna put it in a B just to meet in the middle. I think that's a solid spot.
Yeah, solid.
All right, next up, and again, this is highly confirmed, but we also haven't got the go ahead from James Gunn, so I do want to keep this one with a little bit of a cautionary tale, and that's the untitled Teen Titans project that was announced earlier this year. And again, like a lot of people were just ran like, oh, it's confirmed, and I was like, okay, cool. Had trusted sources, but also James Gunn never came out and said, hey, yes, this is true or whatever. But I love Teen Titans. Titans are some of my favorite DC stories. I adore that team, and even after hearing informations about Brave and the Bold, things about like Nightwing, and you already have a lot of, we already know Nightwing's going to be involved. We know Blue Beetle is going to be around. Damian Wayne's obviously around. In photos that James Gunn has posted, he's posted things with like Raven and stuff in it. So I think even if it's not officially confirmed, I think we can softly say they're coming, if not immediately, soon. Like I think they will be there in Chapter 1 for sure. Are you a fan of like the like Teen Titans characters?
Yeah, I'm obsessed with the Teen Titans. I watched the Titans show. It's not bad. It's actually really good. Like I enjoy it. But yeah, I'm obsessed with the Teen Titans. Probably like one of my favorite teams, just in general.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, I adore the classic 2000s Teen Titans show. I really love the DC AU set of movies that they did. Like I think those movies just like, I don't know, captured the vibe of the Teen Titans perfectly, and like I would like if they followed that template a little bit, because I think that's a great template for them. And I think properly seeing these guys in live action, like, you know, I there's things I love about the Titans TV show. It wasn't my favorite show ever. There were some things I really didn't like about it, but like,
Mhm.
I think my biggest problem about that is we didn't get to see them as the Teen Titans very much. Like, it felt like the Nightwing show, and like the team was always kind of like getting dismantled and stuff like that. But I think like getting to see those characters on screen with a big budget as it, I think it would be so unbelievably cool. To me, it's like an S tier. Like, if done
Yeah.
right, I think this could be one of my favorite superhero movies.
Yeah, I agree with you right there. I'm super excited.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's very exciting. Alrighty, up next we have Peacemaker Season 2. Now, this one's a bit controversial in terms of the... okay. This one's a bit controversial in terms of Peacemaker is back. Obviously introduced within the DCEU. Obviously, John Cena reprising his role for the DCU. There's been a lot of theories on why this is or how they're going to go about this. I personally love that first season of Peacemaker, though. I think it's my favorite thing in the DCEU. I thought that first season was brilliant. Obviously, it's been a couple years at this point since that's come out, so I am overall happy that it is coming. What's your thoughts on John Cena kind of transitioning over from the DCEU to the DCU?
I think it's cool. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like Peacemaker at first, but when I saw the show, it was just lightning in the bottle.
Mm-hmm.
It was just an amazing show. John Cena he's Peacemaker. But yeah, I'm really excited for him to be transitioning into this new phase of DC. So yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, I am, like, again, I have my concerns with, you know, how they're going to handle the transition, and like, you know, again, there's a huge argument from people, like, should people just come over from that universe, or should you completely start fresh? And so, you know, we'll talk about this a little bit with Waller too, because I do think it comes into play there. It's going to be interesting, because I think, you know, a conversation I've had a lot on this channel is like, when you call something a season 2, and the first season's a part of a different continuity, that can be confusing to people who don't know what exactly is going on. I'm going to give it, personally, I think a B. I'm very excited, but there are concerns there that do worry me a little bit. Where do you think you would put it?
Yeah, I think B is good. I'm excited for it, but yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. But like, again, like, once we start getting that trailer, once marketing starts coming out, and that should also be next year, so we shouldn't have to wait too long for Peacemaker 2. So that's exciting. Like, it and Superman are the only two projects that are like currently, you know, like deep in production. They're filming, they're working on it. So that's exciting. And then right after that, we have Waller, which is, again, a spin-off to Peacemaker. We've heard little details about this show. I think it's the second TV show we're getting outside of Peacemaker Season 2, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, Viola Davis returning to the role similar to Peacemaker, and again, seemingly a continuation of Peacemaker Season 1 or /2. Obviously dealing with the trial stuff that we dealt with in the first season. And yeah, I think very similarly to my concerns with Peacemaker, we're dealing with consequences of the first Peacemaker. Like, people are probably going to want or have to see Peacemaker Season 1 to understand the consequences of this show. And then it's like, but wait, you know, you have Jason Momoa and like Ezra Miller Flash in that season. Like, it's a bit complicated. But I do think, like, in terms of a Waller show itself, it's like, I think Waller deserves her own show. Like, I think that's very exciting. Viola Davis, I do think, is like the perfect Amanda Waller. Like, I think she's getting to spend time, 6 to 8 episodes with her is going to be very exciting. What's your thoughts on it?
I think it could be cool. It could kind of go in the way of like Peacemaker or like Secret Invasion. Yeah, I don't know, because I'm thinking it has me, you know, having flashbacks to Secret Invasion. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Viola Davis, she is Amanda Waller. James Gunn, I think he has done amazing stuff with the character.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know
Mm-hmm.
if it's going to be like a spy kind of thing or like, yeah, I just don't know. So I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not as excited for it.
Sure. Sure. I think again, I think this is one where I do have to very much see the vibe of the show.
Yeah.
But like I feel like it's very smart to do an Amanda Waller show early on to
Mm-hmm.
establish the DC universe that we are in.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think, like, again, we're starting fresh. There's so much history within this universe, and Waller is typically like a connecting board to so many DC heroes and
Yeah.
villains. She knows everybody, and she has all these connections and stuff like that. So I think getting to see the new DCU from the lens of Waller is exciting. I think that's very fun. I'm excited to see how they go about that. Um, where would you put it, do you think?
Ooh, for me, it would definitely be a C.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking B, but honestly, I'm totally okay with C. Alrighty. We have Booster Gold, the Booster Gold TV show. Now I always thought Booster Gold would make a fantastic TV show. I think Booster Gold is such a fun character. And like I remember, the like day before they announced the this whole slate, I made a
Mhm.
tweet being like, if you could, have any of these projects be announced, which one would it be? And like I was like, yeah, I like my choice would be Booster Gold. And then the next day they announced Booster Gold, and I'm like, yes, that's so fun. I'm excited for that. Um, there have been some rumored castings going around for Booster Gold. That is a thing. Um, what's your kind of association with the character? Do you know much about this character?
Outside of, hmm, I would say a couple clips I saw. Um, I'm familiar with the character, but I haven't seen much of him in
Yeah,
media. Um, so he could be like a fun kind of like PG-13 Deadpool type character.
yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it though. He could be like a really fun, good character to be outside of like the dark and gritty world
yeah.
that we get.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to lean on the side of the comedy, but what also I think is always so fascinating about Booster Gold is that like he's a very insecure character, right? He's a very, I guess he uses comedy to mask his insecurities, but I also think he can be a very deep character, a character that comes back to the present day from the future and pretends to be a hero with his future technology. And I think that's such a fun concept, and similar to Waller, I think that could make way for a lot of fun world building. Someone that does come from the future who has all these future ideas and stuff. Like, I don't know how much of the Flash you've seen, but like in the TV show, Abracadabra would come every couple seasons, and he would just like drop Easter eggs and like things for the future episodes, being like, "Hey, like you fought the Thinker," and fans would be like, "Oh, he said the thing, he said the thing." I feel like Booster Gold could almost be that character, just be like, maybe he references like Brainiac or something, and like all the fans are like, "Oh, he mentioned Brainiac. Does that mean Brainiac's come?" Like I feel like that could kind of be a fun aspect to it.
Yeah.
To me, it's a high A personally, but where do you think you'd put it?
Ooh, for me, I would probably put it in B.
B? Okay, B's totally fine. B's absolutely fine. All right, this next one is Paradise Lost. Now this is the Wonder Woman prequel series that was announced. I want to hear your thoughts first because I got some. No, I don't have any hatred or anything, but I don't know. What's your kind of thoughts on this upcoming one, or do you even know what this one's about?
Yeah, I know what it's about. It could be cool. I'm not too familiar with like
Mm-hmm.
the Wonder Woman side of things, other
Yeah,
than herself or like some characters here and there, but it could be cool. They said that it was going to be like a Game of Thrones type show, so
yeah.
it could be cool. I just don't know what the goal, like the action we're going to cast.
Yeah, this was the one in like James Gunn lineup that like I don't know. I felt a little not disappointed with, but I didn't feel too much excitement for personally.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Wonder Woman Game of Thrones sounds very cool. But I'm also not the biggest Game of Thrones guy. Like, I like it, but I'm not like, obsessed with it or anything.
Yeah.
And with DC but in the past, we've had a lot of projects like this before where it's like, oh, we can't use the title character, so we're going to use adjacent characters. So we have Smallville, you'll have Gotham, you'll have like Krypton and stuff like that. And it's like I think I'd be much more excited for just a straight up Wonder Woman movie or series.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't have much interest personally at the moment for before Wonder Woman was born or, like when she's a kid or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand I think the reason they're doing this is because the Wonder Woman is still so recent within the DCEU. Like it's been a while since we've had a Batman or Superman project in the DCU, but Wonder Woman is still very fresh. Gal is still was actively in the DCU, unlike the other ones. So
Mm-hmm.
I think this was their way of like, okay, give Wonder Woman a break, but still introduce her through the lore.
Yeah, definitely.
Um, I'm personally not too excited though. Like I don't know. I just want to see Wonder Woman. I think it's lead. I know that's a very selfish take in a way, but like I am just excited for more Wonder Woman. Where would you put this one? Do you think though?
For me, I think C would be a good spot.
Yeah, I agree. I think out of all these projects, again, no hate to it because it could be really cool. Like this is a show that could be very very fun, especially
Yeah.
if you give it a bit of that budget. Like again, it seems like a lot of these shows might go to if not Max, HBO, because because the Green Lantern show is going to Max and some, or I'm sorry, HBO Prime. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe this type of show will go over there as well, which could be exciting.
Yeah.
Speaking of lanterns, so lanterns, we talked about this. We talked about the potential rumored casting just a little bit ago, but it's been a long time coming for a lantern show. We already talked about that, and are you excited for another Green Lantern show, or I guess a Green Lantern show at all?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think everything we heard about the show, it sounds amazing. The people behind it sounds incredible. I'm just waiting on the casting, how many episodes it
Mm-hmm.
is. Really, they're gonna do that action right, like with the rings and stuff. Because if they don't do that right, I don't know. I still think it would be a good show regardless if it's like
Yeah,
no action. But yeah, I'm just really excited for the show.
yeah. I'm just ready for lanterns. I'm so unbelievably excited just to get Green Lantern content. We already talked about this a little earlier in the stream, but like Green Lantern's had a rough run. You know, had one bad movie, and he was kind of like blacklisted from the superhero community for a while, and the
Hmm.
CW stuff was rough, and all that kind of fun stuff. But I think their like description of like this kind of crime, this crime mystery show, this buddy cop comedy, it going to HBO Prime, right? The HBO channel, the same channel in terms of like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. Like that's so exciting. HBO 99% of the time makes great content. You have the rarity that it's not like Game of Thrones season 8 and stuff like that, but like most of the time they make sure they invest in quality television. So I have no doubt that this show is going to be really, really good.
Yeah, definitely.
For me, I think it's an S.
Yeah,
I,
yeah, I definitely agree.
I think it's an S. Yeah, I'm super excited for this one. I think out of all the TV shows announced, yeah, I think Lanterns is my most anticipated show, and I'd be curious to see if it's an ongoing thing, because I feel like my pitch forever ago was like an anthology series of lanterns. Just like each season introducing a new set of lanterns. Like you could have 100 seasons just with the lanterns because there's so many of them. There's so
Yeah.
much scope to it. Um, okay, our next one here, and actually I want to answer some of these comments really quickly. Show wise, I'm super curious and excited for Peacemaker season 2. Absolutely, hell yeah. Alexander said a new Batman would be awesome. So yeah, we got 2 Batman projects here. So yeah, you're in luck because there's some fun stuff there. All right, we're down to our final 4 here. This is our last movie on this list, and that's Constantine 2. Now this is the project they keep telling us is in development. Kind of so that I'm working on it. We're doing some stuff with it. I'm pretty sure this would be the first movie under the new Elseworld label. Maybe it's Joker 2, but I haven't heard anything about this. Yeah, Constantine too. I mean, did you watch the first Constantine movie with like Keanu Reeves?
I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it. No.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be honest. I have not seen the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie. It's one I haven't got around to at this point in time. I'm a huge fan of like the Matt Ryan version of Constantine.
Yeah, I love
it. It's always going to be very hard for me to view a different. I'm always very open to new adaptations of these characters, but I do think Matt Ryan is going to always slightly be my version of Constantine. And I've always pitched being like, all right, give Keanu Reeves his little Elseworld universe over here, and then bring in Matt Ryan for the DCU. Yeah. I'd love that. For me, it is a C at the moment, just in terms of I haven't seen the first one, and I don't have a huge hype for it right now. But how about you?
Yeah, I agree with she. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Alrighty. We're down to our final three. Next up, we have the third season of My Adventures with Superman. They just recently finished their second season. It was a very good second season. Is this a show you've watched in the past, or are you behind on this one?
I'm a bit behind. I saw the first episode, but I really have to catch up on it.
The first episode of the first season, or the second season?
No, the first episode of the first season.
Yeah. Oh wow. Okay.
It sounds really good.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. No. It's completely fine. I'll probably take point on this one then. I thought the first season was really, really good, and then I thought the second season kind of upped the ante. Like what they were able to do. No spoilers on any of the villain or anything they do in the season, but like what they do, especially with the villain and the dynamic of the villain with him and Clark, was really good. And they introduced a new character this season that I think just brings a whole new limelight to this the show. And they're introducing even more next season. What we heard at I think it was San Diego Comic-Con this past couple weeks. Very exciting stuff. Looking at this list here, I think it's an A for me. I'm not like jumping up and down excited, but I'm very much looking forward to a new season.
Yeah, I have just nothing about great things about this show, so I cannot wait to watch.
Absolutely. This next one I am not caught up on. That's the 5th season of Harley Quinn, which is like almost like DC's Family Guy, if you will. Have you seen it or no?
I've watched the first episode, and then after that, it was kind of like, yeah, this is not for me.
That's fair.
But I will say, I do like the relationship between Harley Quinn and Ivy.
It's really good in the show. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of like adult animated shows too much. Like that's just not my genre. And this is one of the rare ones I actually was watching for a while. Because there's a real, like again, like the Family Guy and like those genres of show. They always felt very cruel to me, and it never really, I never really got into it. And there's like a wholesomeness to some of Harley Quinn that I do very much appreciate. And I like those first 3 seasons a lot. I wasn't vibing with season 4 so much though, so I did end up dropping it. And I haven't watched the more recent Kite Man spinoff show either. But I think right now it is just a C for me, just because I'm not currently watching it. Or actually, let's just put it in D then, just to have something in D. Not that we're not excited, but just to have something fill that spot. It's again, not that it's bad, but I'm not caught up at the moment. Alrighty, and our last project on our list here is Blue Beetle. Now they announced, this is the most recent DC project to be announced. They announced a animated Blue Beetle sequel series, kind of. It's going to be adjacently connected to the Blue Beetle movie with some new slight retcons for the new for the new universe. Now, I feel like this one I am less concerned about than I am about the Waller and Peacemaker stuff, because I do think Blue Beetle the movie is so disconnected from anything the DCU did. Like even going into the movie, it was like this could be any universe. This could be one. This could be the DCEU. It could be its own separate pocket if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't connect anything. It was the most recent one, so you could easily just throw that Blue Beetle movie somewhere in the lineup, and you're good. You're good to go. Did you like the Blue Beetle movie?
Yeah, I thought it was really, really cool.
Absolutely. It's all right. It's no problem.
But yeah, I thought it was really cool. It kind of definitely reminded me of that first Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah, it's really. I had a blast with that movie. Like, I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking or anything, but like, I thought it was a really fun time. And one of my I don't want to say criticism, but one of the things I said about watching the movie is, like, I wanted to spend more time with these characters. Like, I think it could have been even better. Like, it reminded me a lot of those CW shows, in the best way possible, right? I think the, like, dynamics that they had with these characters felt very natural, and I was like, yeah, I just want to spend more time with them, and I think a TV show will allow us to have those dynamics, and just spend time with these guys a little better. And I think it being animated, obviously that's very exciting. That's our second animated project within the DCU, coming off of Creature Commandos. But yeah, I think we'll just get to spend time with these characters in a fun way. And I feel like Blue Beetle's powers, his powers are very imaginatory. Like, it's all about kind of his imagination. And I feel like that in animation could be very fun. They can have a lot of fun with the fight scenes and what he can do with his powers and all those fun things. How are you kind of feeling on it, though?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I think I love Solo as Blue Beetle. He's just really fantastic. If I'm not mistaken, this is like the first representation character that we've gotten. So yeah, I'm really excited to see a sequel series. I don't know about it being animated though. It's kind of like, I don't know. I still think it would have been better if you would have did a sequel, but I mean, I understand.
Yeah, I honestly think it was probably this or nothing for them. Like, I think it was probably like, well, first one did not make the budget or the box office they wanted to due to the strikes and just what was going on with DC. And I think this is their way of doing a sequel, one not bringing in like several, like a $10 million project for, like, they could lessen the budget a little bit with it being animation. They could kind of do it more with it, and then hopefully this is their way of reintroducing people to it. Like, if people like the show, if it does well, then I mean, because I also think I have a theory he's going to be in the Booster Gold show. So if you introduce fans to it through Booster Gold, through this animated show, maybe he can get another live action movie in a couple years once fans are more connected with the character, after not seeing it in theaters when it first came out. But where is it on this giant list for us, do you think?
I would definitely put it at B.
B? Okay, middle of the road. I like it. And yeah, that's the last thing on our list here. Now that we have a full list, is there looking at this whole list, do you like the way it all kind of looks, or is there anything that you would like to move or like rearrange?
Ooh, I would definitely like to rearrange some stuff.
The what one?
I would definitely like to switch A around a little bit.
Okay. What are you thinking?
I would put Supergirl over Creature Commandos.
Okay.
B. I would definitely have to put Blue Beetle over Booster Gold.
Yeah, I think I'd agree. I'd actually probably put Blue Beetle above of most in B, I think, personally. Okay. I think, like, I don't know. I think maybe Penguin moved down a little bit.
Yeah, I will move Penguin down a little bit.
So maybe like that?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost, I would put over the Water Show.
The what? Oh, the Water. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
And the Lantern series, I'll put above Teen Titans.
The which one?
Lanterns above Teen Titans.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I think I'd probably agree with that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Yeah, looking good. You got a compliment from you from Alexander. Love to see it. Love to see it.
Thanks, Alexander.
And yeah, with that being said, that kind of takes us to the end of our episode today. Jalen, I want to say a big thank you for being here. Thank you for coming on the show and ranking these DC movies with me. Again, we're kind of coming to the end of our show. Where can people find you?
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at JalenWade97. You can find me on TikTok at The Last Adventure. Actually, I'm sorry, at Jalen Wade 97, the same thing. Mm-hmm. And you can find my YouTube channel at The Last Adventure.
Amazing. You can find his channel. It has an at the top of this title. So if you're going to go check out our channel, just type his at and yeah, I'll take you right there. Again, thank you so much for being here. This was a very, very fun episode. And yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.